All right, guys, welcome back to Cold Pizza Watch Reviews. Today, I'm talking about my all-new Citizen Tsuyosa. This is the 37mm time slip with the smoked black dial. Now, I picked this one up from Jomashop for $269, and that was with the $10 off coupon. And I'm only saying that because this is supposed to be a limited edition watch. I think it's limited to 8,000 pieces. But I'm only letting you know that because I'm seeing prices come back up. They're already back to $319 on Jomashop. So if you're looking at this watch and you want it, I'd probably pick it up sooner than later. Now, before I tell you what I like and a few things that I don't like about the watch, let's jump into the specs. Now, starting off with the case, of course, you're getting an all stainless steel case with polished and brushed surfaces coming in at a solid 37mm in case diameter. Now, next is lug to lug. I measured right at 42mm on my calipers. Now, I've seen some people posting that it's 43mm lug to lug, but when I go edge to edge on this case, I'm getting 42. Now, next is case thickness. I'm coming in right at 11.5mm on my calipers. Then moving on, you also get a polished screw down see-through case back with 50 meters of water resistance. Now, because this is an integrated bracelet, lug width, it's not really a factor, as this is pretty much the only bracelet that's currently available when it comes to the Tsuyosa. Now, if we head over to the crown, you're getting a slightly recessed push-pull style crown that's located at the 4 o'clock position. Now, when we look at the crystal, the Tsuyosa comes with a completely flat sapphire crystal that does include a raised cyclops that's directly over the date at the 3 o'clock position. Now, moving on to the dial, you're getting a lightly textured gradient black dial with a gold minute track. Now, the index markers, in keeping with the 1980s vintage vibe, Citizen has chosen batten-style markers that are lume-filled and trimmed in gold. Next are the hands. They are also gold and lume-filled batten-style as well, which I think contrasts so good against this smoky black dial. Now, just below the 12 o'clock position, you're getting the Citizen logo, which is printed on the dial in gold. Then down at the 6 o'clock position, you're getting automatic, also printed on the dial in gold as well. Then, of course, over at 3 o'clock, you're getting a very visible date window when you take advantage of that Cyclops magnification. Now, flipping the watch over, we can check out this Miyota 8210 movement. So the 8210 is a 21 jewel automatic movement that is hand windable, hacking, and it beats at 21,600 and has this beautiful gold gilt finish. Now, the 8210 comes with 42 hours of power reserve and is made in Japan. Next up is the bracelet. You get a 3-link brush and polish integrated style bracelet that tapers from 20mm down to 16mm. Now, when it comes to the links, they are solid and removable via the traditional pin system. Now, the clasp is a standard fold-over style that is brushed with the Citizen logo, and it also comes with 3 micro adjustments, so you shouldn't have any problem sizing this bracelet just right. So those are the specs. Now, let me go over what I like about the Tsuyosa time slip smoked black dial. Now, first off, a lot of people have tried to make the comparison between the Tsuyosa and the Tissot PRX. And while there are some similar case features, the Tsuyosa reminds me more of my Rolex Oyster Perpetual 36. And I'm just saying that because when I put this on, I was like, this feels just like my Rolex. Now, really, this is more like a Datejust smooth bezel. If I had to make a comparison, I would say that this Tsuyosa, this one right here, this 37mm, is very similar to a smooth bezel, Datejust. So I think that's what it looks like more than it does in the PRX Christopher Ward 12 category. Now I think the case is well done, especially at this sub $300 price point. And then the crystal and the Cyclops, I thought they were excellent. You know, I was worried that a Cyclops on a fairly inexpensive watch was not going to have that great magnification, but it actually turned out to be better than I expected. Then the dial, the hands, the index markers, it all works. It's very vintage inspired. I mean, you'd think that this watch came right out of the late 70s, early 80s. No problem. It's exactly what I wanted from the watch, and it really makes it unique. Then there's the movement. I love the gold gilt finish, and honestly, at this price point, I prefer Miyota over Seiko movements. I just have found that they're more consistent. I found their accuracy to be better. So I'm glad that, you know, this isn't a watch by another brand using a Seiko movement. I'm glad that it's Citizen and they're using their in-house Miyota. I love it, and I love looking at it through that see-through case back. So great job on the movement here, but I gotta say that this bracelet is what stood out. Now, when I first held the watch, I was like, this has that Rolex presidential bracelet vibe to me. I mean, it has those rounded 3-link design that I think really pulls this watch together. And honestly, that's why I say this isn't in the PRX category. This really went to another level with this bracelet. I think you'll notice that when you look at it. So I'm glad that Citizen put the effort into putting in solid links and really doing this bracelet proper, because unfortunately that's the only option you have, but it really sets this watch off. I love it. Now, these are a few things I'd like to see Citizen improve on. Not big deals, but I just thought I'd bring them up. First is the Citizen logo on this particular model, on this dial. I wish it was a little more visible. I felt like it got lost too often, especially when you're inside the house and you go to look at the watch. You don't really see the logo. And yes, I know it's a Citizen, but you understand the text on the dial is, it kind of brings dials together. It almost starts to look like a ghost dial when you don't see any logo or any printing. So honestly, I wish they would raise the logo a little bit and it was a little bit more of a polished gold that would stand out. Again, just nitpicking, not a huge deal. Now the crown. The crown is way too small. And yes, it reminds me of the old Seiko 5s from back in the day. But because this is a hand-wound caliber, it's really hard to get your fingertips on that crown and hand wind it. I'm able to do it. Now, setting the time wasn't that big of a deal because you pull in the crown out and it was easy to get a hold of. So I wish Citizen would probably pop on another 2 millimeters to this crown, make it a little bit easier to hand wind. Now, overall, what do I think about it? I don't think you can beat this watch for around $300 for something that's vintage inspired, automatic, hand windable, with an integrated bracelet that I think has that Rolex President vibe, really the Datejust vibe. So who is this for? I think if you've got smaller wrists, I've got 6.5-inch wrists. Smaller wrist, I think when you're getting up to a 7-inch wrist, you're going to want to go to the 40 millimeter. But if you've been entertaining like a Datejust or an Explorer or an Oyster Perpetual, this is a good option to test out to see how it fits, because although my Oyster Perpetual is a 36 millimeter, this wears almost identical. So that's who it's for. Also, if you're just looking for a stylish watch that you can be one and done, wear this in just about any occasion, I really like it. I'm impressed with what you get for the money. So guys, let me know what you think. Have you been looking at the Citizen Tsuyosa line? Have you been looking at this one? Or do you have any Citizens in your collection? Just talk about them in the comments below. And as always, appreciate you tuning in. Cold Pizza Watch Reviews.